Well, obviously disappointed with the finish in the game. I thought our young men fought hard all night. I thought they played with extreme passion and played extremely hard. I think both sides of the ball and special teams did that. But, you've got to produce on one side of the ball to continue to give the other side hope in life. And our defense kept playing and playing hard. We got the game to where we needed it to be. And, coming out in the second half, I knew it was going to be that type of game. When we came out and we stopped them, I thought, all right, we've got a chance here to make this a low-scoring game. It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a defensive struggle, and we did that. But, we can't turn the ball over there at the end and give it to them in the red zone, and that's a mistake that, obviously we've got to coach better and we've got to play better on that, and then finish the game the right way. And so – I'm disappointed for our fans. I'm disappointed for those players especially and those coaches that poured their heart into everything this week. And we got to bounce back on Tuesday when we get back out there and get ready for Utah Tech because they're not going to care. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Yeah. Coach Wells, Aiden Bauer, Eastern Progress.
Yeah, nice.
How do you evaluate the quarterback play tonight, both in terms of decision-making and handling pressure?
Well, I'm not going to go there right yet because I haven't seen the game tape, so it's hard to sit there and evaluate when he was under true duress and when he wasn't. 5 sacks is not good for any quarterback whatsoever, and I haven't seen the total play on the one where we fumbled. But Miles lays it on the line every time he goes out there. He plays extremely hard. He plays with toughness, and he'll be the first one to tell you that he wishes every ball he threw was like the one he threw to Jackson House. And we've got to evaluate that and figure out how we can get him in rhythm quicker. Give credit to Abilene Christian. They played great defensively, much like we did. And so I think that being said, I'll need to see the video to totally understand.
Any other questions? Coach, obviously, you get that big pass from Burkett to House that sets up the offense. Latham punches it in, 10 to 6, and then, just kind of tumbles from there with, Miles's fumble and the Abilene touchdown. What were you guys seeing from the sideline, in those last few minutes towards the end of the fourth quarter?
Well, I mean, we knew what type of game it was. We knew with 6 minutes and 37 seconds to go, we needed to finish the game right there, or at least get a couple first downs to punt it away and play field position. Because I thought if we played field position, then we could keep them to where they needed to be. I mean, they already had driven down prior to that and got the fourth down stop, which was huge, and gave us the ball back. So, we've that's what you see. You see a tight football game between two teams that are competitively playing. And so you don't want to turn the ball over to give them an opportunity, but that's what happened. And so, we've got to rise up on defense one more time, and we just weren't able to do that.
Yeah. The wind seemed to be playing a factor all night long. Mm-hmm. How much does that kind of impact the game and lend itself towards being a hard-nosed defensive battle, and how were you guys adjusting to that throughout tonight's game?
Well, I think, it's tough for special teams and it's tough for offense, but and it creates some issues on defense with how they do some things, and maybe you get out of character of who they are, offensively, because you're trying to make sure you don't make a mistake to give everybody the opportunity. We got the fumble strip sack for them, and we went down and got the field goal, and then they got theirs and got the touchdown. And that's really the difference in the game. The win obviously has a factor in it, but they had it for 2 quarters and we had it for 2 quarters. We chose to take it in the second and fourth quarter, and I think that's was the right decision. It just didn't turn out the way it needed to turn out.
Obviously, a frustrating loss, but you guys have one more game left here in this 2025 season. What's the message to the team in terms of staying up and getting ready for a Utah Tech team on the road next week?
Well, I think if you're a competitor, you stay up. You're putting your brand out there you're putting your personal brand out there on the field, and you're also putting EKU's brand out there on the field. So you got to go out there and play with a passion and a pride, and understand that if you go out there and lay down, that's on film. That's who you are. And just like us coaches, we got to go out there and put these guys in position and make sure that we understand that they need to be where they, in spots, and we got to give them opportunities to make plays. Utah Tech is obviously going to be ready to go. It's their last game, and we got to travel out, and that's fine. That's part of it, and we got to be ready to go. These kids have never, all year, they have not worked hard. They have not. they've showed up every game, and I say this to them, so I'll say it out loud. They showed up to every game but one. And so I expect them to show up and be ready to go. And we'll coach that away all week and make sure that we're ready to go. And we'll go out there and we'll play with an intensity and a pride that EKU, expects us to.
Thank you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.